everyone, welcome to our podcast. So today, me, Ayolga, and my teammates Shania, Samia, and Ashad are going to talk about identity and freedom. And honestly, after reading all these philosophers and lecture materials, it really made me think differently about who we are.
Right, there's so much to unpack here, like we're creating ourselves or is society shaping us?
That's exactly what we want to explore today. Is our identity something we create ourselves or is it handed to us by society?
And we're looking at this from different angles. Existentialists like Sartre, feminist perspectives, and also Kazakh philosophy, which often gets overlooked.
Exactly. So let's start exploring.
Okay, so I will start with Jean-Paul Sartre because his ideas are kind of wild. Like he basically says we're complete freedom, like our existence is absolutely free and we're not like developing our life in fully freedom.
Wait, full freedom? That's a strong claim.
Yeah, like it is his whole thing. So like he's an existentialist, so he believes there's no objective meaning in life. We just exist and then we create our own essence through our choices.
So no God, no fate, no predetermined purpose.
Exactly, like which sounds liberating until you realize it means you're fully responsible for everything you become. Sartre like says we are condemned to be free. You can't escape the responsibility of your choice.
That's a lot of pressure actually. Every decision shapes who you are.
It really is, but I guess at Sartre's point, freedom isn't easy, it comes with weight.
Yeah, like but that's the point. Freedom comes with the responsibility. You can blame anyone else for who you are.
This is interesting stuff, because in our lecture, we made this distinction between freedom and liberty. They're not the same thing.
Wait, they're not?
No, freedom is internal. It's this philosophical, psychological state. It's about your autonomy, your ability to think and to choose independently. And the liberty is external. It's about political and the social conditions like your legal rights.
So freedom is what's going on in your head and liberty is what society allows you to do.
Exactly. Viktor Frankl, he survived the Holocaust. He said even in concentration camp, they could take away his liberty, but not his freedom. He could still choose his attitude, his inner response.
That's powerful. So you can be internal free even when you are not free in society.
But that's also kind of limiting, isn't it? Not everyone has the same starting point or opportunities.
And this is where feminist philosophy gets really important, I think, because Sartre's talking about this absolute freedom, but like, who actually has that?
Right, not everyone starts from the same place.
Exactly. Take gender, for example. Society tells us from birth what it means to be a woman or a man, for example. We are socialized into these rules, how, for example, how to dress or how to act, what careers are appropriate for us.
So our identity is being constructed by society, whether we want it to be or not.
Yes, and that's the thing. We can't just ignore social structures and say everyone's equally free to create themselves. Some people face way more restrictions than others.
This is making me think about masculinity too. Like men are also put in certain boxes. You have to be strong, you can show vulnerability, you're supposed to be the provider, and if you don't fit that, people question you.
That's a good point. Gender norms affect everyone, just in different ways. We are all performing roles that society has created.
But there is the question, can we rewrite the script, or are we just stuck performing?
Okay, so I found this concept in the lecture notes that actually helps here. Positive and negative freedom.
Oh, from Kant, right?
Yeah, kind of. So negative freedom is freedom from interference, from restrictions. It's not about having obstacles in your way.
That's very individualistic, like leave me alone and I'm free.
Yeah, right, but positive freedom is different. It's freedom for, it's about self-mastery, acting according to your rational will and values, actually developing yourself.
So it's not enough to just not be restricted. You have to actively shape who you are.
Exactly, and Kant had this categorical imperative: freedom of one person must be compatible with the freedom of other people.
Oh, so where the freedom of one person starts, there ends the freedom of another, right?
Which brings us back to social aspects. Your freedom exists in relation to others. And speaking of social dimension, let's talk about Kazakh philosophy for a second, because we have our tradition of thinking about freedom that's actually really interesting.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about Alashorda?
Yeah, so in early 20th century, Kazakh intellectuals like Alikhan Bukirkhanov, Ahmet Baitursunov formed this liberal party. They were thinking about freedom in the context of nomadic culture.
So what does nomadic life have to do with freedom?
Oh, everything. Nomadic life is built on freedom, freedom of movement, election of leaders, this kind of natural democracy. It's not about individual isolation, but about community freedom within a cultural framework.
So identity, there is more like collective, like you're defined by your family, your clan, your geta.
Yes, but that's not necessarily oppressive. It's different understanding of freedom. You are free within a web of a relationship and responsibilities, not despite them.
That's actually closer to how most people experience life, right? Like status, absolute individual freedom sounds cool in theory, but in reality, we are always like embedded in families, like communities, in cultures.
So maybe the question isn't individual freedom versus social construction, but how do we balance both?
But here's something that complicates everything: determinism. Like, what if all our choices are already determined by prior cases like genetics, upbringing, brain chemistry?
Oh, interesting. So how does this work?
No, this is actually important. Like, determinism says that every action has a cause, so maybe free will is just an illusion.
But then how can we be responsible for anything?
I guess this is where Eric Fromm comes in. He says determinism is not inevitable. People always have the choice between good and evil, and that's the essence of human freedom.
And Dostoevsky said, if there is no God, then everything is permitted. Like, without some moral framework, how do we even make meaningful choices?
So maybe freedom requires some structure, like moral, cultural, social, to even to be meaningful.
I think so. A complete house isn't freedom, it's just a house.
Yes. Okay, so we have explored different philosophical perspectives on this question. So how can we conclude?
I think the answer is that it's both. Like, identity is both self-created and socially constructed. We have agency, but it appears within certain constraints.
Yeah, like Spinoza said, freedom is recognized a necessity. You're free when you understand the forces shaping you and work within them constitutionally.
So we're not blank slates, but we're not puppets either, I think. We are constantly negotiating between what society gives us and what we choose to do with it.
And maybe that negotiation itself is what makes us where we are.
That's it, but also practically right. Like, I can recognize that gender norms affect me, but I can also resist them, reinterpret them, choose which ones to follow.
Same with cultural identity. I can honor my Kazakh heritage and my Jitata while also being critical of certain traditions. It's not either or.
Yeah, but freedom and identity are messy. They are personal and political, individual and collective, I think. So it's chosen and it's imposed.
So what's our final thought of this?
I think it's complicated is actually the most honest answer we can give.
Exactly. Identity isn't something you either create alone or receive passively. It's an ongoing process of negotiation.
And perhaps being aware of that process, understanding what shapes us, questioning it, making conscious choices, that's where real freedom exists.
That's a good way to think about it.
Okay, thanks for listening, everyone. We would love to hear your thoughts on this. Where do you stand on the question of identity and the freedom? See you next time. Thank you for your
See you
attention.
next
Goodbye.
time.